The mix before the weekend is through. The details are coming up.
Our top story tonight, volunteers are looking for the body of Courtney Lake this evening, 1 week after police declared her disappearance a homicide investigation.
Yeah, the RNC says Lake was last seen getting into a black pickup truck in Mount Pearl on the night of June 7th with no sign of her since.
Here now's Megan McCabe is live at a volunteer-led search near the Marine Institute in St. John's. Megan, why are volunteers searching there tonight?
Well, they're looking for anything that might lead to finding the 24-year-old Courtney Lake. And her aunt, Glenda Power, is here tonight helping to organize this search. Glenda, why are you doing this?
Well, today marks 1 month since Courtney disappeared and 1 week since the Royal Newfoundland Constabulary announced that her disappearance is now a murder investigation. There's nothing more important to our family than finding her, and we have to help the search efforts as best as we can.
And why here?
Well, my sister Donna, actually another of Courtney's aunts, made this decision, and she's just looking at all the information that the police put out, look at the areas that they defined, the time she was picked up, and we focused a few of our searches towards the West End and just outside of St. John's, and thought that maybe it might be a good idea to try the East End now here in the Ridge Road area.
Now, this is not the only search. And can you tell me about the different searches that are being organized by the family and by volunteers?
Certainly. So, of course, the police are searching and the rovers and all the resources they use. This is the 4th search now organized by the family. And I have to thank the public for coming out. Like, people come out on foot, on bikes, and pickups and cars, and they're so helpful, and most of them don't even know Courtney. And then we have searches by the public. Like, I noticed in our Facebook group just a little while ago that a member of the public is organizing a search for the Topsail Beach area for tomorrow morning. So I'd suggest everyone watch the Facebook group for searches, and we'd certainly love your help.
Yeah, I was talking to a couple people earlier who don't know Courtney Lake, but they said they were here because they just felt it was really important to find her, and one woman was a young mother herself. Who are these people coming to help look for her?
They are people who have been touched by our story. Their hearts are now connected to Courtney and her disappearance and now her murder. And it fills my heart, and it supports our family so much to know that so many people care, not just across the province, but across the country about Courtney and her disappearance.
Glenda, were you shocked when the police said they believe?
I don't think any family prepares to hear that kind of news, and we certainly were growing more and more worried every day, but many of us, we never put our heads there. We just could not. So it devastated us. There's no other word for it.
How are you and your family holding up?
You know, given the horrific circumstances, I think we're coping as best we can given what we're dealing with. But the people see one side. We're here organizing searches, we're giving out information, but I mean, we have days when we just can't get out of bed. We are devastated, we break down, but we have lots of support too, so we keep going, and we're going to keep going until she's found, until a murder charge is laid and justice is served.
You can see people getting organized here behind us.
Yeah.
I mean, how does this, what's going through your mind here tonight? A month later, all these people are here.
Well, I think for one thing, our family has done our job in keeping Courtney on the radar of the people of this province. They have been moved by her. I think they've connected to our family, and they look at Courtney and think, well, she could be my daughter, my sister, my friend, and that's why all of these people are out tonight, and they're there now getting their instructions from my sister Donna and where to search and what the parameters are and so on, and we're just so grateful for them.
Thank you, Glenda.
Thank you, Megan.
Now, this area here happens to be very close to Philip Stephen Smith's house. He's Lake's ex-boyfriend. However, neighbors told us just last week that officers and police dogs searched the neighborhood a few weeks ago. Police aren't saying who they've identified as persons of interest in this case, and no one has been charged. As for 25-year-old Philip Stephen Smith, he's in custody for breaching court orders and he's due in court next week. Reporting live for Here and Now, I'm Megan McCabe in St. John's.
Well, police on the West Coast are warning the public about a middle-aged man who's trying to lure women into his car. Bay St. George RCMP say they had 2 complaints yesterday during the afternoon and early evening. A man was trying to lure women, making rude gestures as well. Police say the man was described as Caucasian, about 45 years old, and driving a small, older gray or silver vehicle. The RCMP is asking the public to be vigilant and to report any similar incidents.
MUN released a report today that concludes the university is well governed, but there are dozens of recommendations. The Board of Regents launched a review after a student representative resigned last year, alleging she was bullied by fellow board members. Here Now's Avneet Dillon has our story.
The chair of MUN's Board of Regents has a lot of work to do in a short time. He plans on implementing all the recommendations in a 65-page report on the board's practices by the end of the year. That includes more support for students stepping into regent roles for the first time.
A lot of this information can be overwhelming to any number of different people that come to the Board of Regents. So therefore we are going to provide better orientation, better mentoring for students.
A representative from the MUN Students' Union said the student who resigned last year was intimidated by the culture created by the board.
And didn't leave an environment that was comfortable for folks to participate in, especially students, to be able to make commentary that was fighting for their members in a safe and respectful environment. So of course we're hoping to be able to achieve those things.
Mahoney says the board wants to make sure members feel comfortable speaking up.
We have more work to do in terms of our orientation to make board members more aware of diversity, different experiences, different backgrounds, and to promote continue to promote an open and respectful dialogue at the board table.
The report made 32 recommendations, including training on the culture of respect. Avneet Dillon, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, a gas station in central Newfoundland is closed for repairs after this crash on Wednesday evening. A truck burst through the wall, almost crushing a staff member and customer. No one was seriously injured, though. The owner of Kane's Ultramar says the driver told him she accidentally pressed the gas rather than the brake after she fueled up the vehicle. John Kane says the crash has caused major damage to the business.
The vehicle collided. They took out the door, but they also took that wall behind the cash register with them, and that was all ejected into the store with the counters and the cash register and the lottery machine. It was all just, and a Pepsi cooler full of drinks that all just, like I said, was ejected into the building. So it's thousands of dollars worth of damage, not only structurally but to the material and business loss and.
Well, a woman from Kippens is now a millionaire. Myra Bourgeois claimed her Lotto 649 win today in Stephenville. She was the winner of the $4.2 million lottery draw at the end of June. The 52-year-old already has some big plans for her winnings. She's going to buy her dream home with a pool, and she's going to go on a girls' trip to New York for some shopping and to see Come From Away on Broadway.
Congratulations to her. We'd like to go see Come From Away on Broadway too.
Or go swimming in your pool.
Yes, congratulations. That's a nice win. Now, of course, we wanted to bring Ryan in on this next story because it's weather related and it's also kind of unbelievable.
Yeah, it involves a man, the ocean, and an iceberg.
Just have a look at this risk taker.
Now, we do not know who this mystery swimmer is. The video was captured by Jerry George and his wife near Twillingate.
And apparently it was 7 degrees and windy when this happened on the Canada Day weekend.
George says he cautioned the man about getting hypothermia, but the mystery swimmer said he'd been swimming in colder water.
Oh my goodness. The man's motivation, we're told, he told Jerry that he'd always wanted to touch an iceberg, so he certainly did that and stood on one and sat on one.
Wow. well, obviously a little dangerous.
Oh my
goodness.
I mean, very, very dangerous.
Anyone who's seen an iceberg roll knows how dangerous that was.
And here's hoping that he's already had kids, because that may be it.
Thanks, Ryan.
You're welcome.
Well, a summer camp experience turns sour for 2 kids from this province. That story is coming up right after Ryan's weather. What a great way to kick off the weekend.
Yeah.
Beautiful day in St. John's today.
Yeah.
If only it would just stay.
Do you know how many people say, look, make sure Ryan delivers a good weekend forecast?
Not a pressure.
You tell him. And I'm saying, I wish I could influence it.
I know, and there's a lot of folks, again, who have big plans. We're into July now, so, and tomorrow does look pretty wet at times, with some rain, at times heavy coming through. Today, as we mentioned, was a great one. The one thing we will hang on to is the warmer temps. Not quite as warm as it was today for tomorrow, but we will hang on to the warmer temps as we move into Sunday, where we're back into the low to mid 20s. Tomorrow, a bit of a hit temperature-wise with the clouds, with the rain, but at least it will be mild. And there are, again, the look at the highs that we had across the province for today. 24 at Happy Valley Goose Bay, 26 in Deer Lake, 21 in St. John's. We've cooled off a little bit, still 24 in Grand Falls, Windsor, 23 in the Happy Valley Goose Bay region. Now, as we take a look at the big picture, this is why we're getting the warm stuff. Area of high pressure nicely in place to our east. Nice southerly flow coming in around that high and ahead of this weather system that's been moving in across the Maritimes today, holding hands with this trough line that's been moving through southeastern Labrador and the Northern Peninsula, with some periods of rain that have been moving up through Daniels Harbour, St. Anthony, through the Straits, and across southeastern Labrador, where, of course, we don't have the radar, but we can see with the satellite. Risk of a shower or thunderstorm continuing through tonight across southern Labrador, and that bit of a clearing trend across the Northern Peninsula, but it won't last long as our next round rolls in through the overnight hours and into the early morning hours of Saturday. So there's your snapshot by 6-7 a.m. tomorrow morning. Pretty good chance of some rain from Corner Brook back across to central parts of Newfoundland. St. John's, a bit of drizzle, possibly a brief shower or period of rain, but it won't last too long. It looks like the steadier rains, and by the way, a nice mild start to the day are right across the board for tomorrow. The better chance of rains here in the east will be towards the late morning into the midday and early afternoon time periods as this line moves through. Again, the heaviest rains tomorrow will be destined for central parts of Newfoundland, where we could see upwards of 20 to 30 millimeters. A bit of a break at times tomorrow, and then I think another round coming in for tomorrow evening, more in the scattered shower drizzle nature, but certainly tomorrow evening will also be a little on the wet side right across the island and in the Labrador. So there's your 7 to 7 across the metro region. 13 degrees, a nice mild start. I think temperatures will certainly be variable tomorrow. If you're closer to that southeast flow, temperatures are going to be in that 12 to 13 degree range. Better chance of 17 degrees in places like CBS, and away from that south-southeast wind, we will see again 15 degrees to even a little bit cooler right in the onshore winds along the southern shore. 18 to 20 degrees across central tomorrow, and looking at 19 to 20 degrees for the west coast, with again wet across the board is the only unfortunate part about tomorrow in terms of those nice temps. Now, we will be seeing, again, a bit of a southeast flow tomorrow, so keeping temps a little bit cooler in those onshore winds in the Straits. 14 in Happy Valley Goose Bay, looking at 19 in Labrador City. Risk of some thunderstorms from Labrador City to Happy Valley Goose Bay tomorrow. Now, the good news for the island is as we move into Sunday, you'll note the shower chances will decrease. We'll get some sunshine into the mix for Sunday. Labrador, another wet one. We'll talk about that and your long-range forecast coming up in just a few minutes. Carolyn?
Thanks, Ryan. Well, a summer camp run by Tim Hortons was supposed to be fun, but it turned out to be anything but for these two boys from Newfoundland. Here and Now's Nakshi Pandit has more.
Brody Clark had been in other Tim Hortons camps before, so his expectations this year were high, and his mom felt a peace of mind sending him off to Winnipeg.
There was to be campouts and canoe trips and campfires and socializing, meeting new friends, that sort of thing, I guess.
But those expectations were shattered as soon as their son came home with a tick bite.
The actual tick was still on him when he came home. So that rose huge concerns for me. One, I didn't know what it was. Two, because I didn't know what it was, I didn't know how to react to it. When I saw it on his back, I assumed it was a scab from a fly bite.
And this pair are not the only family with concerns. LaTonna Rogers says her son Brady wasn't given his proper medications at camp.
My biggest issue was I sent him with his medication that he takes daily, 3 times a day. He has a chromosomal disorder, so it's very similar to ADD and ADHD, where he can't focus. So if he's going out to build fires with his other campers, he needs to learn how to focus.
But her complaints don't end there. Her concern started as soon as her son's plane left for Winnipeg, and nobody would confirm if he had arrived safely.
I was floored by that fact that nobody let me know that my child was there. I was ready to jump on a plane to see if he was there. Yeah. Right? If I could have, I would have.
Both moms say the boys experienced neglect, but they're expecting to return to camp again next year, just not in Winnipeg. In a statement to CBC, Tim Hortons says that they're in a conversation with the families involved and that they regret that certain aspects of their policies were missed at this camp. They also added that they've taken immediate corrective action to ensure a similar situation doesn't happen again. Nakshi Pandit, CBC News, St. John's.
The Innu Nation has high hopes for an impending inquiry into why so many of their children are in government care. Up next, the Grand Chief on this week's agreement with the provincial government. Their pleas have been loud and sometimes heartbreaking, but now the inner leadership of Labrador will finally get an inquiry into why so many of their young people are in child protection services and often so far from home. A few days ago, the province and the Innu Nation signed a memorandum of understanding, and Anastasia Cupie, the Grand Chief of the Innu Nation, is with me now. Thank you very much for being here with me.
Thank you.
Well, Grand Chief, you've had a couple of days to absorb the fact that you've actually reached this agreement. How significant is this to you, to your people?
It's significant because this is what we've been saying to the governments, both levels of governments, in federal and provincial. So when we had our meeting there, we asked for the same thing from this province, to say that we want an inquiry into what's been going on with children that are in the child welfare system.
How much will you be pushing for the mandate of the inquiry to be very broad and not just on child protection services?
Well, we've been dealing with child protection services for more than 50 years in our communities. And so we really have to think about where will we start? Because I know a lot of people don't like to hear the word colonization, but that's what it is. And we face the issues around intergenerational trauma, alcohol abuse, family violence. All those issues come into play. And here we are today, 50 years later, we're still dealing with the issues around child protection.
Mm-hmm. So will this inquiry be the beginning of just a longer process to deal with this?
It's a beginning to start something for our communities. I think about the families, the stories that they've told us, hearing about the kids and what the experiences have been like for the young people when they come back home, and for the elders, what it's been like for the elders too.
How confident are you that the parents you spoke to me about, the communities, will have to take responsibility for some of the problems themselves?
I'm hopeful, because that's something that we have never hidden in our communities, of what our communities are like or what we're living with. We're living with the gas sniffing, the drug abuse, family violence. But in terms of taking responsibility and having the programs and services in our communities to be able to deal with that, that's something that we're going to tackle on, and we have been.
How worried are you that an inquiry with recommendations will collect dust and not be acted on as previous inquiries have?
These stories, that what people have told us and what we've heard, we're going to keep them close to heart, because those are our stories, those are our children's stories, those are our elders' stories. So we're really going to be watching in terms of that the recommendations be acted on.
You also expressed the emotional toll that suicides of your young people has had on your communities. Will this step towards an inquiry, will that lessen the incidence of suicide? Will this help?
Well, I can't speculate on things, but at least it will be a start for our communities of both Natwachish and Shehajit. We have to find out what's going on and how can we help, and those are the things to me that really matter, because when we look at the future, we see our children, and the children will be the inheritors of our culture and our language, as we have been. That's been passed on from our parents, and it's our right now to pass that on to our children and grandchildren.
And that was the Grand Chief of the Innu Nation, Anastasia Cupie, earlier this afternoon. Well, 1 year ago today, 18-year-old Hannah Thorne was killed on the New Harbour Barrens. She was in a car with her grandmother when a pickup slammed into their vehicle. 2 men are charged with street racing causing death. Late this afternoon, family and friends gathered to remember Hannah Thorne, and Here and Now's Jeremy Eaton was there.
As you can see behind me, more than 100 family and friends of Hannah Thorne have gathered here on Route 73, the stretch of road where the 18-year-old was tragically killed on this day last year. Now, to mark the 1-year anniversary of her sudden passing,
Her family and friends wanted to make sure that her death was not in vain, so they've erected a memorial at the crash site. Now, amongst the memorial is a birdhouse, a bench, and a photo of Hannah, along with flowers that her family planted. Now, earlier today, we had the opportunity to speak with Dwayne Legg. Now, he's one of the organizers of this event today, and here's a little of what he had to say.
So today, through the generous support of the community, we have a memorial that we are unveiling today in memory of Hannah. So the sign itself was donated by Newfoundland Towing and Recovery, and this piece of land actually that we're on is owned by Dave and Anne-Marie Chater. They own this property, and they've graciously allowed us to put the memorial on this site. And we want this memorial to pay tribute to Hannah, but also remind people of the impact that negligent driving can have.
So how did you come about with the decision of what to put here at the memorial site?
That was, it took a lot of thought, I guess, and contemplation on what to put here. This is a road that's very heavily traveled. We wanted to do something that would honor Hannah. Hannah was a bright star in everyone's lives, and we wanted to make sure we honored that. So when you do see this, there is a picture of Hannah on it. And we wanted to make sure that it was going to be something that people would take a moment and really think about their actions. And so that's what we're going to see here today. Today, this is being treated as a memorial. Very soon after this now, we're actually going to add a piece onto it with a safe driving message. But today, we really wanted to focus on this as a memorial for Hannah.
Right now, the memorial is all about remembering Hannah, but Legg says in the fall, the hope is that they can put up some signs to help prevent more dangerous driving incidents and prevent what happened to Hannah from happening to anybody else. Jeremy Eaton, CBC News, along Route 73.
Thanks very much to Jeremy. Jeremy, and the ceremony just happened about an hour or so ago, around 5 o'clock. Now, the two men charged with street racing causing the death of Hannah Thorne have pleaded not guilty.
Yes, the case, which will be heard by a judge only, is set to go to court in October. 125 years ago, the Great Fire tore through St. John's. We'll hear how the city is marking the anniversary coming up.
So far this year alone, there have been 5 sexual assault complaints where the suspect is believed to be a taxi driver. Who's keeping track of who's behind the wheel? A CBC News investigation has learned there are serious gaps in oversight of who's driving your cab.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Well, tomorrow marks a big anniversary in St. John's. It's the 125th anniversary of the Great Fire. In 1892, fire tore through downtown St. John's, destroying homes and businesses and leaving 10,000 people homeless. The city is marking the anniversary with events in Bannerman Park. Historian Dale Jarvis is leading a walking tour about it. He met up with Here and Now's Peter Cowan.
This building, it kind of occupies an interesting spot. This is where the fire swept down Longs Hill. It got to the bottom of the hill here, it spread out in 2 directions and largely kind of swept towards the ocean and destroyed most of St. John's. The thing that I wanted to show you here is one of the few things that actually remains from the period before the Great Fire, and that's the medallion, the sandstone medallion that we can see here on the kirk. It's the symbol of the burning bush, a bush which was not consumed by the fire. And the medallion was actually part of the old Presbyterian church, which was down at the bottom of Cathedral Street. It was destroyed in the fire. The Presbyterians saw this as a symbol of St. John's kind of rising from the ashes, and they brought it back up here when they rebuilt their church. They incorporated it into their new building.
So remind us, just how devastating was this fire?
It was very, very devastating. And estimates vary between 10 and 12,000 people homeless, hundreds upon hundreds of homes, damages, millions of dollars in damages. It really destroyed the entire downtown core of St. John's. Almost all the churches were destroyed, merchant premises, boats in the harbor. It was unprecedented.
Why do you think it's important that we remember this 125 years later?
The reason why St. John's looks the way it does today is largely because of the Great Fire. We think of St. John's as being kind of a historic place. We think about the historic architecture. Because the town was destroyed in 1892, the town that arose like a phoenix from those ashes was a very, very modern city. At the time, there was this new architectural style that was kind of a craze, the Second Empire style. There was an architect here, the Southcott family of architects and builders. So the way that St. John's looks now is a result of the Great Fire. And the fact that we have streets that aren't narrow and close together like you would see in European cities, it's because after the fire, the city planners were able to straighten out some of the streets, widen them, and kind of make St. John's the city it is today.
So these streets are actually better than
they would have
been pre-1892.
And that's one of the reasons why the fire was so bad. There had been a fire in 1846, and there were recommendations that said we need to build the houses further apart, we need fire breaks, the streets need to be a minimum width. And people said, we're never going to have a great fire, it doesn't matter. And they built the houses back close together, narrow streets. And so when the fire swept down the hill here, it just led to mass destruction. So yeah, it is that we complain about the streets in St. John's, but they're a lot better than they were in 1892.
So you're going to be doing a walking tour on Saturday. What are you going to be showing people?
We're going to start up by the Basilica Arch up here at 3:45 on Saturday, and we're going to trace the route that the fire took. So we'll kind of come along up to the top of Longs Hill, come down here and talk about how the city has changed, some of the buildings that were destroyed, and little gems like this that survived the Great Fire.
Well, thank you very much for telling me about it.
Thank you.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
I could look at that old footage all the time, and I mean, it was devastating, and we certainly rebuilt. Love to see the streetcar, though.
Oh, yes, love that streetcar.
Yeah, that was very interesting.
Yeah, and an interesting walk tomorrow. If you are going to be taking part, might want to grab the umbrella, and really, no matter what your plans are tomorrow, it should include a raincoat or an umbrella, because we are watching those showers, if not periods of rain, that are going to be rolling through across the entire province. Looking at those shower chances and those rains moving through tomorrow. Sunday split, and so the island will certainly be the more favorable forecast for Sunday, with more sunshine in the mix. And then for Labrador, another day that's going to be a little on the wet side, unfortunately, with periods of rain rolling through for many. More warmth for the weekend and into next week. That's the one main good theme in the forecast, is that temperatures are hanging on into those high teens and 20s right through the 7-day, and we'll show you that in just a moment. So as we have looked at today, we've got the showers over the northern peninsula, southeastern Labrador, and that trough line is holding hands with this next system that is going to be rolling in through tonight and in through tomorrow. And as we take a look at that future tracker, there's that rain arriving through the overnight Saturday morning. It spreads up across the island, everybody into the mix. And yeah, that rain at times heavy coming through across eastern, central, and western parts of the island. A little more in the scattered nature across Labrador, but again, wouldn't rule out at times some heavier downpours, especially into the southeast parts of Labrador. By the time we get to the Saturday evening time period, I think some of those heavier rains starting to work off to the north, but certainly some lingering showers and drizzle will greet us for Saturday evening and even into the overnight. There are your temperatures for tomorrow, generally in that 17 to 18 degree range. Could hit some 20s along parts of the west coast, and risk of thunderstorms tomorrow, as I mentioned, from Labrador City to Happy Valley Goose Bay. Now watch your timeline here. Saturday evening, the first system moves off to the north. Secondary system coming in will be moving over Labrador, and that's where we'll see our heavier rains on Sunday, especially Happy Valley Goose Bay towards southeastern parts of Labrador. For the island, I think we'll see some sunshine into the mix, some drizzle along parts of the south coast, and a chance of some afternoon showers moving into the west and up towards the northern peninsula. But it's looking like a pretty nice day from St. John's back through the northeast coast to central. We're talking mid-20 temperatures, a touch of humidity in the air as well, making it feel closer to 30. So it's going to be a pretty nice one, and definitely the pick of the weekend for central and eastern parts of the island, and even towards the west coast, where those shower chances are certainly going to be more so into the afternoon. Labrador, again, as I mentioned, it's a little wet, 17 to 18 degrees for most. As we roll into Monday, that low moves to the north. Some scattered shower chances wrapping back into Labrador. Newfoundland is looking at another nice one. So if you've got an extended weekend, Carolyn Stokes, looking at a very nice one just for her, just for the garden, because she did such a great job the last couple of days here in the Weather Center. 24 to 26 degrees, sun and cloud, and some scattered showers, Happy Valley Goose Bay, with some sun breaks in Lab West. Now, a quick look into next week does show another nice one for Tuesday on the island. Showers building into Labrador. Those showers will push into Newfoundland through the day on Wednesday, but they won't last long. That's a pretty quick line, and so you can even see some the sun and shower icon I've got on for Wednesday, with Thursday and Friday. That's a pretty nice looking week overall, and I know a lot of folks with holidays right now, so that's some good news there. Labrador, a bit of a dip you can see in the west Tuesday into Wednesday, but recovering quite nicely late week.
Okay, we'd like to introduce you to 5-year-old Tenley Piercy of Norman's Cove. Tenley participates in gymnastics and ballet.
Yes, she also plays soccer during the summer and plans to join the Trinity Placentia Flyers hockey team in the fall.
Awesome job, Tenley. You are today's Young Athlete of the Day.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is in demand at the G20 Summit meeting in Germany. Many of the other leaders see Trudeau as a bridge to the U.S. president.
Yes, Angela Merkel wants Trudeau to work on strategies to get as many other leaders as possible on board with an energy action plan she's pushing. Meanwhile, the president of France says his talks with Trudeau are about their firm commitment to the Paris Agreement on combating climate change.
We'll have more news after the break.
Welcome back to Here and Now. Turning now to national news, the federal government has apologized and paid a settlement to Omar Khadr. Public Safety Minister Ralph Goodale outlined the deal to reporters on Parliament Hill.
Reaching a settlement was the only sensible course. But equally important is the core issue repeatedly identified by the Supreme Court of Canada. In the pursuit of justice and national security, governments must respect charter rights and human rights and the rule of law.
Goodale says the settlement relates to the actions of Canadian officials who failed to assist Khadr while he was imprisoned in Guantanamo Bay. The terms of the deal are confidential, but CBC News has learned that Khadr received $10.5 million on Wednesday. He was also given a written apology. Goodale says 3 separate Supreme Court rulings in Khadr's favor meant there was little chance of successfully defending Khadr's civil suit. Khadr was 15 when he was captured by U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan, and he spent a decade in Guantanamo prison before he was transferred back to Canada in 2012.
Now to Hamburg, Germany, where demonstrations turned violent again today. While there are some peaceful protests going on, others got ugly. Some groups are trying to get closer to the area where leaders are meeting, but they were met with a wall of police. Demonstrators have set cars on fire and torn down street signs. Police are responding with water cannons as they try to move the protesters away from the security zone. The city's fire department says 11 protesters were injured after falling from a wall during confrontations with police. Up to 15,000 officers are on the streets of Hamburg for G20 Summit, and other German jurisdictions are sending reinforcements.
3 men were hurt in the opening of the bull running festival in Spain. All 3 were taken to hospital, and one of them had to have surgery for serious injuries to his head. The bull running sprint typically brings out about 2,000 daring runners. It's an 875-meter dash as people wind their way through the northern Spanish city. The event is part of a week-long festival.
Well, today, the first of Tesla's Model 3 vehicle is set to roll off the assembly line. It's being called Tesla's mass market car, with a more affordable price tag than its other luxury models. It caps off a monumental week for electric vehicles that could get them closer to becoming mainstream. CBC's Jacqueline Henson has more.
All right, let's bring them out.
More than a year after its flashy unveiling, Tesla's first Model 3 is set to roll off the assembly line today.
When the Tesla 3 was announced, there was, that rush to put your money down.
Compared to this Model S, the Model 3 is about half the price. One more increasingly affordable option to add to the growing list of electric vehicles on the market.
5-6 years ago, there were just a couple of makes and models available of EV in very few dealers. Now you're seeing every automaker with 1, 2, 5 vehicles.
Volvo's big bet on electric will see all its new vehicles be fully electric or hybrid as of 2019.
1 of every 5 XC90s we delivered over the last year and a half were plug-in hybrids. So based on our own experience, our consumers, they embraced the technology.
And the winner is...
Electric vehicles are gaining respect. The fully electric Chevrolet Bolt took home top car at the Detroit Auto Show earlier this year.
But you won't find a Bolt for sale at this dealership. It's so popular, there's a waiting list. Automakers are struggling to keep up with demand, and it's also forcing others to adapt.
Okay, that's good.
Teaching new mechanics to service electric vehicles is already changing training programs.
As vehicles become more mainstream, or there's a larger, greater number of electric cars, I could only see us allocating more time towards electric cars.
Some future car mechanics believe their timing couldn't be better.
We're kind of being thrown into this whole new era. A lot of other technicians and stuff don't have that experience. So I like that we're going into it right in the transition time. I feel it'll give us a little bit of an advantage.
Analysts say gasoline-only engines like this one aren't about to disappear, but as the price, range, and options of hybrid and electric vehicles improve, its dominance could soon start to fade. Jacqueline Hansen, CBC News, Toronto.
In between fighting crime and filling seats at the multiplex, Spider-Man found the time to swing by Shriners Hospital in Sacramento, California, and it certainly made one superhero's fans' day.
9-year-old Abigail Westland has battled scoliosis through more than a dozen surgeries. She was thrilled when her favorite web slinger surprised her with tickets to the new movie that opens today.
Proof that he really is your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to Here and Now. You might remember the story of Norman, the friendly steerer from New Brunswick that needed risky surgery for an infection in his jawbone. Well, after weeks away in PEI for that procedure, Norman is now home with his family.
Amazing feeling, actually, to have him back. He was a big part of our life, so there was a really big gap that was left when he was gone.
His jaw is still a little tender from the surgery, and he won't be giving his usual saddle rides just yet, but still has to be a good feeling to be back on home turf.
Oh, it's so nice to see he's doing well. He's like their pet. Well, when you think of birthdays, you probably think of cake, and when this giant panda turned 4, that's exactly what she got.
Oh my.
Staff at the zoo in Taiwan prepared a giant fruit cake for the occasion, and crowds showed up to take pictures, of course. But the panda only took a few bites. The zoo curator says it's mating season, and she has other things on her mind. I wonder what that could be, Ryan.
They'll just have to put it in a big fridge.
Yeah, somebody went to a ton of work to make that cake and she wouldn't even eat it. Well, that's disappointing.
Okay, speaking of birthdays, it is time now to see who else is celebrating this week. Happy 93rd birthday to Grace Roberts of Paradise. Congratulations to Lorne and Verna Moss of Eastport on their 60th wedding anniversary on July 5th. Happy 50th anniversary to Ben and Eleanor White, who also celebrated on the 5th. A golden anniversary as well for Phyllis and Henry Sutton of Victoria. Congratulations. Kevin and Jessie Saunders of CBS are celebrating 62 years of marriage. They now live in Admiral's Coast in Kelligers.
Happy 64th wedding anniversary this Sunday to Reverend Lockley and Phyllis Fiander of Fortune, now living in St. John's. Congratulations and best wishes to Graf and Mary Tiller of Corner Brook, who are celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary on July 8th. Happy 55th anniversary wishes to Nellie and Bill Jennings of Foxtrap, who will celebrate their anniversary on July 6th. Happy 50th wedding anniversary to Henry and Elsie Piercy of Brigus Conception Bay. Congratulations to Fred and Ethel Sampson of Botwood. They celebrated their 53rd anniversary on July 4th.
Happy 95th birthday to Gertrude Howell. She celebrated on the 3rd. Happy 90th birthday to Vera Cashin of Harbor Grace, now living in Carbonear. Wishing Martha and Gord Randall a happy 58th wedding anniversary. They celebrated on July 1st. Happy 92nd birthday to Earl Parrott on the 2nd. Best wishes from family and friends. Happy 58th anniversary to Gerald and Joyce Hannum of Lewisport.
Congratulations to Bill and Jesse Abraham of St. John's, who celebrated their 52nd wedding anniversary on July 3rd. Happy 93rd birthday to Clarence Duke Barnes from Trout River, now living in Corner Brook. Happy anniversary to Harold and Margaret Johnston of Goulds, who will celebrate 62 years of marriage on July 9th. Happy 55th anniversary to Martin and Eileen James of Norris Point. They celebrated on July 4th. Happy 90th birthday to Eileen Wells of Glovertown, now living in Gander.
Happy 95th birthday to Gertrude Hayes, who's from Cupids and now lives in Midland, Ontario. Happy anniversary to Absalom and Joyce Baker of Bay Largent, who are celebrating their 64th wedding anniversary today. Happy 50th anniversary to Ben and Eleanor White from family and friends. Grace and Edmund Hodder celebrated their 61st anniversary on the 4th. They're from Stoneville, but now live in Lewisport. Happy 91st birthday to Gladys Stockley of St. John's.
Happy 50th anniversary today to Ronald and Myrtle Pinsent of Churchill Falls, now living in Dildo Trinity Bay. And wishing Louise Cluett a very happy birthday. She turns 101 tomorrow. Happy 50th anniversary to Alberta and Louise Burry. They celebrated, Albert rather, and Louise Burry. They celebrated yesterday. Another golden anniversary. Happy 50th to Edgar and Shirley Arnold from Glovertown. They'll celebrate on the 12th. Happy 90th birthday to Enid Barrett of Bishop's Cove. She and her husband have been married 69 years.
Wishing Pearl and Carl Milley of St. Anthony a happy 62nd anniversary on Sunday. Roland and Margaret Carter will be celebrating their 50th wedding anniversary on the 29th. Congratulations. Congratulations.
Congratulations to everybody. Good looking crew there once again this week. Okay, quick recap on your weekend weather tee up. And yeah, I've got the golf tee there, but really golfing weather more so for Sunday on the island, especially central and east, where we'll have the best looking forecast, chance of some afternoon showers in Corner Brook. And again, the south coast, it's the rain tomorrow, and then just that onshore drizzle fog with set up with a pretty moist southwest flow coming in for Sunday. In Labrador, both days a pretty good chance of seeing some rain. In fact, I think the heavier rains for Happy Valley Goose Bay in particular will be on Sunday, but again, temperatures are pretty mild there as well. Now, as we take a look at that viewer picture of the day, if I can get it loaded up, hopefully it's there. Do I have it? It's a really good one too. It is, there it is, and a beautiful picture, worth the wait. And just for Jen White, who is timing at our show tonight, sunny summer day, Robin, Dunford, Reed, Pasadena over the last couple of days.
It's a gorgeous part of the province, gorgeous part of the island on the west coast there. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful weekend, everyone. Enjoy your long weekend. Peter Cowan will be here. See you on Monday.
Good night.